Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Virtual Fine Arts Friday. I'm Beth Creighton. I'm here with my co-host, the Dean of the College of Fine Arts at Millikan University, Laura Ledford. Hi, Laura.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing okay. How are you doing?
All right. We are back for episode number 3. We are, again, so thankful to nowdecatur.com, and our contact over there, Eric Lee, has been so great about posting our show in this new format. And so as long as they'll keep having us, we're just going to keep sending them
We'll keep
videos.
showing up. Why not?
That's right.
We got nothing better to do.
Now that's not true.
I know.
I know it's not true for me, and I'm quite sure it's not true for you.
Right, but this is a welcome respite from all of that stuff. So.
It is. We've got some guests who are starting to gather in the waiting room outside of our Zoom meeting, but we always like to use this first segment for you and I to sort of catch up. And I know that you have an announcement that you want to make that is so exciting.
I do. I'm thrilled about this. As you know, Dr. Paul and Shirley Stanley are longtime friends of the School of Theater and Dance particularly, but also the School of Music and all the arts here in this community. And we found out on Monday that they have made a gift to the new Center for Theater and Dance of $100,000. And so that gets us that much closer to finally finishing off the fundraising for that building. And so we just couldn't be more grateful. So thank you, Shirley and Paul. And it's a terrific acknowledgement and gift that you've given us. So thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. And you know what I love about Shirley in particular is that even during this weird time, you know, they're both finding ways to reach out. I got a text message from Shirley the night that was supposed to be opening night of Some Enchanted Evening, you know, just sort of thinking of you. I know this is what was supposed to be happening and we can't wait to be back. And just very thoughtful, kind, generous people. So,
yeah, she's a big part of our community, certainly, but of the Decatur community. And I think everybody knows what a friend she has been, particularly to the arts in this area. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I know that we both have a couple of things we want to talk about. I'm going to jump on the community train and I'm going to share my screen. Maybe I'm learning. I'm getting better. The Decatur Public Schools have partnered with nowdecatur.com to do what's called Radio DPS. And I wanted to show you how to get there because it's super easy. Nowdecatur.com, you click on their podcast and you scroll down. Oh, look, there's us.
There we are.
There's our stuff. Woohoo, you go there too. But all the way down here is Radio DPS. And we know we've got parents and kids at home right now looking for different ways to engage. And if you just scroll, I mean, every day there's new material and you can see it's designated by grades, but there's fun things like jokes of the day, there's music lessons, people reading books, here's an art lesson from Andy Jones, who has been on our show before. So there's social emotional learning. I know a lot of us, adults and kids, are struggling with being stuck inside, and some of these great lessons from some of our Decatur Public Schools employees are just really great. So I wanted to sort of point that out and show again the way that the arts are sort of coming to the forefront as a way to help all of us during this time.
Absolutely. We're keeping busy and hopefully keeping people sane.
Yes. And I know that, you know, there were some things at Millikan that had to be canceled, obviously, but there are some other things like the Midwest Music Expo that are being adjusted to sort of fit this time. And our good friend Martin Atkins, who's like our most, I don't know, he's appeared the most on our show, I think, of anyone. He is working to make this expo still happen, even though we're all separated.
Yeah, this was an event that went on campus for the very first time last spring. It was in the University Commons, and we had panels and guest artists and speakers, and we also had all sorts of vendors in the space in the University Commons from the community selling art and printing t-shirts and all kinds of things like that. Yeah. So they've just sort of taken their show online. And there's going to be a big event. It's an all-dayer, as Martin says, on May 9th. And at the May 9th event, let me see. He says the event is still under construction, but it's going
Yes,
to be
I went to their website, and so they haven't quite released the full schedule.
right. But he's teasing a couple of things. First of all, there's going to be his presentation on art and entrepreneurship in a time of crisis. And if you've never heard Martin speak or do a presentation, it is not to be missed. So make sure you tune in for that. Martin has also developed a lot of partnerships in the area. And of course, he has a lot of friends and contacts in the music industry. But kind of some of the things that the MMX Online will feature are, let's see, well, Galen Lee, first of all, one of our tiny desk artists that's been here a couple of times, and she'll be talking about disability rights for artists in the business.
There was an entertainment attorney, which I thought was kind of a cool, different kind of speaker that our kids don't usually get.
Absolutely. And let's see, we're having, oh gosh. Yeah, that's Jeff Becker is the attorney. He represents Nicki Minaj, among others. And Anish Kapoor is the creator of the Bean. I don't know what that is, but I'm sure it's something really, groovy and cutting edge. So, but Martin's built a lot of partnerships in the community with Speakeasy Records and Oddities, with Donnie's Pizza, with Blick Art Supplies, with Shani Goss and Goss Advertising, and of course Millitracks. And I guess part of this is going to be one of the prizes, I believe, is an 8-hour tracking and mixing session in Millitracks on our brand spanking new beautiful Neve console.
With Kevin Barnieri, which remember when he came on our show and we were like name dropping all of the artists, and Mariah Carey, Whitney Houston, and now as part of this expo, you could win 8 hours with that guy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really have anything to record, but I want to win it.
But it's real rock star stuff. I mean,
I know.
This is how the big people do it. Also, Lol Turhos from the Tolhurst, I'm sorry, can't get either one of his names right. He's from The Cure, if you guys remember that band.
Yep.
He'll be part of the day, and also apparently $4,000 in prizes will be given away. Yeah. So this is an event not to be missed. May 9th, it's a Saturday, and we will post the registration information and all that kind of stuff when we post the podcast. So
yeah. I'm excited. I'm hoping, like, usually my schedule doesn't allow me to sort of participate and go to those things, but I mean, what else could I be doing?
I know. I think this is going to be really fun. The other thing that got canceled for Martin and the students, of course, was the second edition of the bus edition.
I know.
Martin took students on the road with Pigface last fall, and he was planning to do it again this summer, but of course, unfortunately, there won't be any big rock concerts going on around the country this year.
Yeah, I have no doubt, though, that when it's time and we can all be back together and that can come back, that Martin will make it happen.
He'll be all over it.
Yeah.
It'll be great.
For people who watched our second episode, one of our guests was Jarrett Johnson, who is a Millikan alum and fellow graduate with me from the class of 2001. And we were talking about chapter 6, and then sort of off the cuff, you were like, wouldn't it be cool if chapter 6 would do this recording of the alma mater for our virtual commencement?
Yep, I did that.
And not 5 minutes after we stopped recording, I got a phone call from Jarrett, and he was like, I really want to do this. I think this would be so fun. It just so happens that 2020 is also the 25th anniversary of Chapter 6 being a thing.
Mm-hmm.
It started in 1995 and continues till today. Actually, Chapter 6 just released a new song on social media today. They recorded it virtually. It was a take on I'll Be There by the Jackson 5, sort of a quarantine version.
Uh-huh.
Um, but they're still together. And so he thought this would be a really cool way to not only have current members of Chapter 6, but past members of Chapter 6 as well, which includes some pretty big names.
Yeah.
Matt
Yeah.
West,
Matt West.
Mike Englehart, Tom Englehart, Mark Roach. A lot of these guys have gone on to have very, very lucrative, profitable, successful careers, and they all jumped back on board. So they are currently in the midst of collecting all of that video and sound to be edited together to be part of our commencement.
Yeah, it's so exciting. Everybody's very excited about that particular feature of this virtual celebration of our graduates.
Yeah. I mean, if we can't all be together, we might as well, get the best people we can together in a room and, have them do their
Speaking
thing.
of celebrations, when you see this podcast, you'll see a bunch of stuff that we've included. And one of those will be a link to the recent Celebrations of Scholarship, which is an event that Millikan does every year in April typically. And that's where all of our students, any of our students, can submit their work that they've done over the past couple of semesters, whatever, so that everybody can see it. And if you didn't know where to look on our website for it, we're going to provide you with the link.
Yeah,
So
it's a little hidden.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, from all across the College of Fine Arts and all across the university as a whole, I think everybody could find something in there that they would find interesting.
Absolutely.
All right, we have got our waiting room is growing. And when we come back, we're going to visit with Lyle Salmi from our art department. He has sent me some really cool videos and pictures of student work happening from afar. So we're going to talk about how the art department is handling things. And so stick with us. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to Fine Arts Friday. I'm Beth Creighton. I'm here with my co-host, the Dean of the College of Fine Arts at Millikan, Laura Ledford, and we are happy to welcome our first guest to our virtual studio, Lyle Salmi, who's a professor and the chair of the art department at Millikan. Hi, Lyle, how are you?
Hi, Beth. I'm fine. Hi, Laura.
Hey, complete with your beret. Excellent.
Well, it keeps the hair out of my eyes. I've been letting my hair grow out, so.
Well, there's that.
Yeah.
Well, it's good to see you. I know normally we all sort of run into each other on campus, so it's a little weird that we haven't seen people in person in a while. How are things going over at the art department?
Well, even though I have the virtual background, which we can talk about after a little bit, but I'm in my office right now, and it's probably as good a place as any to socially distance oneself because not too many people are around. So it's something to get used to. I know I still walk through the studios and see where everyone left off their artwork, and it's almost like a time capsule. It's a little bit strange, but you get used to it. And we've all kind of over the break, spring break, we all created online formats as best we could in 2 weeks to accommodate the creativity of our young students. So.
And are they being creative? Are they working hard?
The beauty of the art students is that sometimes I'll throw assignments at them and then they come up with their own kind of flair and their own assignments, and that's better yet. And I tell them, like first and foremost, I said, if you don't want to do an assignment, you tell me what you want to do and, come up with your own, and that's way better than anything I could do because one of the things about, being a creative artist is you have to really kind of let your imagination go where you want it to and let it take you places that, that's the whole kind of beauty of creativity is going somewhere where you don't know where you're going to end up, right? It's like going on a trip or a journey or what have you.
Oh, that's great to hear that you're leaving it so open like that, because I mean, these are weird times, and these students, whether they're staying at home or wherever they may be socially distancing, it's got to be a little traumatic, and it's got to have their creative imaginations running a little bit wild. So it's probably a great opportunity for them to really stretch out a little bit.
It's been interesting to see those who've really run with it and those who've stumbled a little bit. And when we had our sessions for all the faculty to kind of like put together these online courses, one of the kind of things was, don't make it synchronous, make it asynchronous, because you don't know where the students are and what situation they're in, whether they're in the same time zone and all this stuff. I decided to make part of it synchronous, like one meeting time a week where they could go and post up, and that gave them a sense of regularity. And then the other day I just let them do work, and because part of it is them getting used to their situation. And it was interesting because the first assignment was post up your workspace, and some of them were just tiny little work table, and others had maybe even a whole room. So it varied,
Yeah. Well, one of the assignments that you gave was a COVID-19 diary, and I'm going to share some pictures that you sent me from a student. Do you want to talk a little bit about what you sent to them instruction wise?
Yeah, again, erring on the side of openness and creativity, I sent them a set of watercolors and some paper and said, this is going to be your COVID-19 diary. You're free to do whatever you want, interpret however you want. And they're working on it. Some, because the mail was a little bit slow, just, got their stuff last week. This is a BFA art education student, Shannon Cook, who really kind of started to take off with it. And so it's kind of an interesting thing. And frankly, the Illinois State Museum they're accepting both visual and written, and it's all electronic music, stories about Illinois folks and their COVID-19 experiences that they're going to be archiving. So I've given the students a link to that too, so they can send their efforts towards something like that.
It'd be great. It would be a great time capsule in a decade or so.
Yeah. And you also were kind enough to send me a time-lapse video. I'm going to find this. Do you want to talk a little bit about what Taylor's doing here?
Taylor was the first one to send in her time lapse, and I put an assignment on my Moodle page for the students saying, let's post up a time lapse that we'd like to see the process. And Taylor really jumped into it. She's an art education major, honors student, and she's actually started this piece, which I think is some type of a musician, or she's going to do her honors project with printing, like linocut prints with her honors project about musicians. And so I don't know the musician here. That dates me, so.
I don't either yet.
Yeah. But I thought it was a really effective piece, and she really kind of, I think, kind of hit it out of the park.
Yeah, that's amazing. You're doing great work.
Yeah. Do you want to tell us about your virtual background?
Oh yeah. Okay. So this is Kayla Alpers. She's a graduating senior, BFA art therapy, and the title of her book is called Familiar Faces. Before we went on break, our last exhibition was at the Blue Connection Gallery, where I assigned, again, this was already last semester, I said, let's do a book. And their only rule was that I said it has to have a title and it has to be X amount of pages that I created for them. I tore down the paper and it's X size. And so she did hers according to what her BFA show was really about too. And by the way, all of our art students who are graduating, their BFA exhibitions can be seen on the Millikan Art Department Facebook page and Instagram. But this is a lovely example of the freedom and creativity, because artist books are beautiful. They don't have to even have a story. They don't have to have writing in them. And each page is a unique artwork. Mm-hmm. So it was a really well-attended exhibition reception. President White was there, and we were all enjoying the wonderful creativity of the books.
Mm-hmm. Well, and we're also going to post a link to those BFA exhibitions among all the other things that were a part of the Celebrations of Scholarship on the Millikan website. So hopefully a lot of people will get to see the BFA exhibits.
Yeah. Are you finding more time for you to do your own art during this quarantine?
Not as much as I would like. It's just, and I heard something on NPR today about this whole idea of time has been kind of strange. And I have to agree. Sometimes I'm like, what day is it? but not as much as I would like to. But I've also been busy with a lot of things that have been turned online, not only, faculty meetings and then all kinds of stuff, teaching and, everything that's on. I guess I used to take for granted being able to talk to somebody in person in the hallway or, stuff like that. So while I'm still I've been doing pastel sketches because I don't have the energy to kind of jump into oil paintings right now, but I still plug away, you got to do something.
When you don't have me bugging you to go to a Zoom meeting.
Well, I'm having to be a Zoomer with my faculty a little bit more too. So, I mean, I kind of stayed away from that a little bit, but it's really convenient and not as scary once you've done it a few times.
Right.
That's right. Well, we so appreciate you coming on tonight. If you get any more pictures or videos that you want to share with us, we're happy to use them during our show over the next few weeks.
That would be really wonderful, and I will do that. And I also want to throw out something. When we get back to normal, we would like to have maybe a show at an art reception where you could talk to the artists and interact. That would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Just interacting would be good, regardless.
Yeah. Well, everyone will look forward to that.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Thank you, Lyle. Thanks so much.
Thanks,
you.
Lyle.
Bye.
Bye.
Welcome back to Fine Arts Friday. I'm Beth Creighton. I'm here with my co-host, the Dean of the College of Fine Arts at Millikan, Laura Ledford, and we have a full Zoom room. So quickly, let's go around the horn here and have everybody introduce themselves. Now, I know Jessa and Sarah have both been on our radio show, and then Kenzie is our newcomer. So Jessa, let's start with you.
Hi, I'm Jessa Wilcoxon. I am the Department Chair of Arts, Technology, and Administration. Thanks for having me on.
Of course. Sarah?
I'm Sarah Tice. I teach stage management and arts administration, and I'm the coordinator of that program.
And Kenzie?
Hi, I'm Kenzie. I'm a junior arts administration major at Millikan.
So Kenzie, I'm going to start with you. Where are you still in Decatur or are you home?
No, I'm in Kansas, actually.
How is virtual learning in Kansas?
It's definitely interesting. I'm also a dance minor, so that's probably been the weirdest transition, has been like trying to figure out dance classes in my basement, but we're making it work. And then, I think the other big switch has been having to work on, a student-run venture that I'm now 6 hours away from with Pipe Dreams and helping Sarah figure all that stuff out.
Yeah.
It's happening, but we're making it work.
Good. Have you found any silver linings? I've found a couple silver linings in teaching virtually. Is there anything that you were like, this is kind of cool?
Yeah, it's been nice to make things work to my schedule a little bit more, just like how I naturally function, just because I'm a very I get more done late at night and whatever. So I've been able to kind of adjust when I'm doing my classes and stuff with how I would ideally function, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. Well, we're glad you're here. So Laura, I know that in the past on our show, we've talked about the Arts Tech program.
Mm-hmm.
Let's give a little recap.
Okay. Arts Tech started, it was launched as a pilot, 3 years ago, Jessa?
The fall of 2016 was our first official
fall. So even longer than that.
Yes.
And of course that has, that's combining art and technology and business and entrepreneurship skills. And there are 5 concentrations. Sorry, that other one is new. 5 concentrations. One is in audio engineering and production. One's in video production. One is in graphic design and visual art. And then one is in live performance or live, what do we call it?
Live event technology.
Live event technology, because it's not just performance. And then integrative technology or
interactive media, yes.
Thank you. I have Zoom fatigue.
It's okay.
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
So that's been going strong for a few years now, and it works so well that we thought, maybe it's time. And we've talked about it for a long time. We talked about having an arts administration. We had theater administration first. And Kenzie, were you a theater admin student?
Yeah, initially I was, so I just made the switch last semester.
So we decided to expand it to incorporate all the arts areas. And so there are concentrations in arts administration in dance, in theater, in music, and in technology.
And in regular art.
And just regular art.
Regular art.
Traditional fine art, yes.
Right.
Yes.
Before we jump into arts administration, I want to share my screen to look at this Burst magazine. That is a collaboration between Arts Tech and the English department. Jessica, do you want to talk a little bit about this while I sort of scroll through these pages?
So I'm quite proud of our students. I partnered with Julie Bates from the English department, and she mentored several students in the writing of the articles. And through 2 different functions, we were able to design the entire magazine. One was through my student-run venture, Milliken Crates, which is an on-campus media firm that takes on client works in graphic design, in photography, and videography, and interactive media. And we took on as a client through to do the cover and some photography for this magazine. And then in my arts technology graphic design class, I was able to take on it through the classroom, actually doing the layouts for the magazine. So performance learning all around. We're quite proud of it. And it's not just a digital flip book, as you see here. There are print versions. They'll be on campus very soon. We're sending it to the printer as we speak. So
It looks amazing.
Yeah, I have
very proud of
looking through this. We all sort of got the link via email as faculty members, I think, and it has been really cool. The empowerment topic is neat, but I mean, it looks gorgeous, and the articles are really great.
Yeah, we wouldn't expect anything less. Our students, they know our expectations, and they've learned that, among other things, that how deadlines in editorial design work, right? So if the writer misses their deadline or the photographer misses their deadline, the designer can't start. So it's a learning process all around to get the magazine actually finally to print.
Yeah.
That's
deadline.
learning, baby.
So,
You know, students
Sarah,
have the opportunity to be in the real world, so to speak.
Yes,
With
Yeah.
it is, yes.
Yeah.
So Sarah, let's talk about arts administration. Now I know this is like you put this in your email to me, and I think you're right. It's a really timely major right now with everything happening.
Yeah, I think it's really important because coronavirus is going to be with us for a long, long time. And so one of the things that our students are learning right now is how to adapt. One of our main targets of the program overall is to connect art with audiences. And what better way to practice what things work, what other methods and vehicles we can use to be able to connect those things. We need to stay relevant for our audiences. And so this degree program is really helping students to experiment and to figure out how to do that.
Well, when you have it all figured out, Sarah, you and your students, please clue me in.
I think it's a continual learning process, right, Kenzie?
Yeah, it absolutely is.
I mean, seriously, it's a question we have all, faculty and students, I think, have been asking ourselves since this the lockdown sort of started, is how do we keep reaching out? How do we get our work out there, and how do we bring people into it, and how do we make that connection? Because we're nothing without that connection with our audiences and our communities.
That's actually been really interesting from the Milliken Crate student venture side, because we've been able to work online quite easily with several clients, because as you guys know, the world operates online. So doing marketing or media needs, those don't stop, right? We still get requests. But there are other clients that were tied to a live event that when the event got canceled or changed, we had to adapt. And in one case is we had some new clients popped up. We're now helping do a video production piece for a wind ensemble group to showcase, you know, all the people playing into one spot. So that was a new client that appeared after this tragedy, which is kind of interesting, right? That
well, and
find ways to perform and show their work.
Yeah, and we sort of brought you on board to plan our virtual graduation celebration, whatever we're going to call it.
Yeah.
And those are the kinds of things that arts technology students and faculty, you know, that's the kind of work that you do. And same thing with arts administration. I'm curious about Pipe Dreams. What are you guys doing? I mean, that's a live theater company. What's happening there?
Do you want to talk a little bit about that, Kenzie?
Yeah, sure. So obviously, we aren't producing our shows that were supposed to happen this semester, which was kind of a shock to the system because we were basically on the verge of opening before everything shut down. So it's come down to our production team still figuring out how to handle returns, making sure everything gets put back where it is as soon as people can kind of start moving around, especially in Illinois. They had plans to strike everything, and then the stay-at-home order got put in place. So they're still figuring out how to mitigate all of that. But then even so, right now I'm the director of development. So obviously from a management and budgeting side, we're faced with basically our main form of income isn't happening this semester. And how do we handle that, but also understanding that we are in such an interesting and difficult time economically. So how do we balance that? And then also, like Sarah said, we're working to connect with our audiences because obviously this is a difficult time for people economically. So how do we maintain that connection with people so that hopefully when we're able to return to producing shows, or at least when the economy is returning to a place where it's more stable, they're going to be willing to, give to us as well.
Yeah, and Pipe Dreams, of course, is one of the several student-run ventures in the College of Fine Arts. And that, in a way, the student-run ventures in the college are kind of the laboratories, if you will, for the arts administration program.
Yeah.
Now, I know, Jessa, before we go, I know you wanted to talk about some scholarships that are available for people that might be considering one of these programs.
Yes, so we are still accepting scholarship applications. We review those as they come in. So you don't have to wait for a certain deadline that may be missed. We'll be looking at them as they come in. But we have scholarships that are for $1,000 to $5,000 annually. So if you add that up across 4 years, that's possible 20 grand, which is a nice package. And that is based on talent in either arts technology or arts administration. The arts technology scholarship requires a portfolio, and there's been a lot of email communication regarding that from the admissions office, but we also have links on our website with more information about that. The arts administration scholarship relies more heavily on a formal paper and an interview, but I think in both cases interviews are very important. But we're doing all those on the phone. In reality, we've been doing them on the phone before this all started, so that hasn't changed. So we're looking forward to seeing those applications continue to come in and hopefully hand out some more money.
Well, I'm just reminded of how timely these degree programs are, not only just for COVID-19 era, but just, getting out there in the world and managing those connections that we value so much. So yeah, especially if you're a Macon County resident, between a $1,000 to $5,000 scholarship plus the Macon Matters scholarship, Milliken is a place that you should consider, and lots of great opportunities to work in student-run ventures and to make art and to make commerce. Keep it all together and put it out in the world.
Well, I'm so glad we could make this work. I know that Jessa and Sarah, you were scheduled to be on air with us a couple weeks after spring break. So this all worked. And Kenzie, I'm so glad that Sarah suggested having you come on air with us too. So thank you. You all stay safe and healthy, and hopefully we'll see each other in person sometime soon.
Okay.
Hopefully. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Special guests, two guests who have been asking to be on this show since October, and now's their chance.
We are ready. We are ready.
Is your routine ready?
We've been working all week.
Matt Albrecht and Anna Alex, two of my favorite people to work with in the School of Theater and Dance. We have talked a lot about the new building. We were just on with Jessa and Sarah talking about the arts administration and arts tech programs. And part of what's coming in the new building are some really great spaces for our students. So I'm going to let you guys fight over who wants to talk about what first.
Anna, you want to go? You want me to go?
Sure.
All right.
Hit it, Matt.
I got it.
I got this.
So this is going great. I'll start. This
project, I've been able to be a part of this project since, well, this version of the project, I should say, since the beginning. This has been many years coming. But I really appreciate the administration's foresight in thinking, involving all of us, the design faculty and some of the acting and Sean with dance, in the design of this building. Okay, because we get one shot at this, and we wanted to make sure that we knocked it out of the park, and I can say that we knocked it out of the park. One of the things that I'm most excited about in this new building is the lighting and sound lab. Up until this point, I may be breaking some news here, but my light lab is actually in the basement of Blackburn. Right now. It's not supposed to be a light lab. Anna laughs at me every time she walks into that space. She's like, "What is this?" It's literally a room. It's horrible, right? It's literally a room that I had keys to when I first started here, and there were a bunch of computers in it, and no one was using it, so I moved the computers out, and I started putting my stuff in, and it's a real, patchwork of it's not what it needs to be. This new building is giving us a state-of-the-art lighting and sound lab. One of the things that I'm most excited about in this new space is, it's a space for just our students, just our lighting and sound students, to experiment, to explore their ideas, to learn. It's a space that I can't think of many other universities our size that have anything like this. With the lighting, and I'll let Anna talk about the sound aspect of it, but with regards to the lighting, we have 3 different light boards in this light lab. We have an ETC Ion, which is a desk that you see used in a lot of theaters. It's a theatrical board. Then we're going to have a high-end systems Hedgehog 4, which is more of your live event type board, right? And you see those a lot more, whether it's corporate gigs or some concerts use them. And then the one that I'm most excited about, because we haven't had this technology, and that is a Grand MA3. And the Grand MA3 is like the Lamborghini of light. It's the Bugatti of light boards, right? It is like my dream car. And you see the Grand MA on most rock tours, most big tours are using the Grand MA. It is used for not only lighting, but also projection. You can put all of your projection stuff through it as well. It is becoming more and more a staple on Broadway. I know Wicked just transferred their show over to a Grand MA, which took some time, but you're seeing more and more of it out there. Disney uses Grand MAs all over. Grand MA is your entertainment desk, and we are so excited to offer the students each of these boards to be able to go in and have a lab to turn on lights. But not only do we have a lab with the lights, but each of these desks will have visualizers for. So we'll be able to set up a virtual environment and pull back one of the curtains in the light lab and project onto a screen, a virtual concert stage, and say, light this song, go to town. And just the sky's the limit. I mean, I'm sorry, I get all excited talking about it.
Well, it is amazing. And that's kind of how it ties back to arts technology, because you'll of course have theater design students in there, but you'll also have arts tech students who may be interested in designing for concerts or for architecture or for trade shows or, whatever it may be. And so now you have that kind of capability that you really didn't have before. So it's going to be amazing.
I just want you to promise me that you'll let me come in and push some buttons.
Absolutely. Anna and I are talking about the homecoming weekend. We're gonna set up a club in there. We're gonna have a club going. Yep. I'm not kidding. Music's gonna be pop. We're gonna have a light show. The music's gonna be bumping. Like, bring your dance shoes, because it's gonna be epic.
Who needs the winery when we can dance in the new Center for Theater and Dance?
Bring it on.
All right, Anna, you want to give us the sound side of all this?
Wait, before you do that,
Thank you.
Anna is new. Anna
Yeah.
is new on our faculty. She would have just finished her first year on the faculty in the School of Theater and Dance, but she also has appointments in arts technology as well. So we're thrilled to have her, and
Thank you, Laura. Thank you. And also, just to clarify, I will be finishing. You made it sound like this is it.
No, you're not done yet.
I'm going to
no.
be here the rest of the semester. Yeah, we got time. That's how I get fired, is on a Zoom thing. Thank you.
It's over.
So Matt talked a lot about gear. So the sound gear is the exact same. We have a lot of opportunities. I'm not going to go through and list it because I think Matt definitely handled the nerdy side of that. But what I want to touch on is that what's so cool about this space, like Matt was saying, is that it's a new space for us, right? Like it's not like, oh, we had this space before and now this is just a new version. Like we have not had this space. Up until this point at Millikan, all hands-on sound and lighting teaching had to be done show specific, meaning that if I walked into the Albert Taylor or KFAC or even Millitrax, anywhere we go, there's always something actually happening. So then we can only show people so much, right? I can say, hey, let's learn all about Medea's sound system, but that doesn't give our students any chance to play. And a big part of learning how all of those boards work is to play with them, is to not have the pressure of a show, a director, a script, a grade, right? There's no pressure. We can just go in there and say, hey, you want to know what an FX Hall reverb sounds when it's up at 80% density on a kick drum? Let's figure it out. And so I think that it'll truly be a fun kind of experimental sound and lighting room where we'll be able to really delve deep and not have to be inhibited by stuff. And then hopefully they feel more comfortable making these broad choices. And then when we put them in the theater, they're not so scared of the equipment anymore because they've already seen what it can and can't do. Mm-hmm. So that's what I'm most excited about in terms of that lab.
Well,
and our club, Matt.
I'll tell you one thing I'm excited about that has just come up recently in our conversations with the architects and the designers and our building manager is the interactive capability that we're building into the Center for Theater and Dance so that it can talk to the School of Music, it can talk to Kirkland. So talk a little bit about that interface. Either one of you.
Sure. I can just touch on it real quickly. The coolest part of it is in terms of a sound perspective is now that we are tapped in on this kind of audio network that both Kirkland has, the Center for Theater and Dance, and the PCM. I always get mixed up.
PMC.
School
of Music, Millitrax.
Yeah. School of Music, let's get there, yeah. Is that all three of those locations can remote in to the audio system, meaning that if we're doing a play or a musical or a dance concert in our theater, Millitrax can live record or stream our entire audio show, which means all of a sudden that we don't, as in live sound, a lot of times how we record audio is we have like a 2-track recorder at our board and it sounds pretty mediocre. Yeah. Now we can have a full state-of-the-art studio recording our state-of-the-art show, raising the level of quality.
That's awesome. And you know what else I love about this is that we're all going to be learning together, right? So I'm sure the students will see you guys like try things and fail, and you will be able to teach them lessons through that too. And I just think it's a really cool, like, collaborative opportunity between faculty and students.
Yeah, I'm so looking forward to getting in that space and doing that, trying things that we've never been able to try before because we just haven't had the resources to do it, and now we do. The other thing with buildings being connected and this type of thing, the Center for Theater and Dance, with regards to lighting, it's not just the theater that is the space for us to light. In the lobby, there are lighting positions in the lobby. We've got this beautiful feature wall, and there are speakers hidden in the feature wall that you can't see them, but they're there. And there are lighting positions, so we will be able to create moments in the lobby. I envision, pre-show or during certain holidays, whatever, part of a project will be, hey, this is the lobby. Okay, let's light a themed environment here. Let's create some magic in the lobby. The dance studio, the acting studios, they're all wired and ready to go with lighting and sound. So we can go into any of those spaces, bring up some gear, and set up a rig real quick and create some magic. There are so many opportunities for different spaces just within this the new Center for Theater and Dance that it's just mind-blowing to me. The possibilities are endless,
We can't wait.
Now, Laura, what you really need to know is that we all got to pick our offices for the new Center for Theater
Oh,
and Dance.
you think you got to pick them?
Oh,
We know.
we know.
And the three of us are back in our own little corner, and
Oh,
we're
no.
so excited.
Anna and I are next to each other, and we're right across from Beth. And the reason that is Beth's office was determined because of the piano. We need to get that, but we wanted to go on the other end. We wanted to have our little corner there.
Right.
So we're
Your
super
little
excited
corner
about
of
it.
the world.
We're
Oh,
close to a
my God.
stairwell, quick escapes. No one's gonna know if we're there or not. We've got it all planned out.
Let's
Yep.
see, is that that's the south or northeast corner?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to avoid that corner.
Secret.
I would.
Or
I
maybe
wouldn't.
that's where I'm going to hang out most of the time.
You know it's going to be where my cool homecoming hallway is going to be.
There we go.
And
Now
now,
that
you're going to have lighting and sounds to go with your homecoming hallway. So
I already have ideas. You two just haven't heard them yet. I'll be in touch.
can't wait.
I picture
Can't
I
wait.
want to do dueling pianos across the hall, Beth.
Yes.
That's right, because Kevin's on the other end of the hall.
He is?
And
Yeah.
then we can have Anna in between. Yeah.
It's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing.
Well,
It's all on schedule to actually open if we have stuff to do in it in the fall. And even if we don't, we may still be putting the finishing touches on getting the equipment all rigged up and everything in the fall semester. I don't know that we're going to have shows there because of everything that's going on, but we'll be doing something in there.
Well,
Yes.
and Anna and I have already been talking about what we can do, some creative ideas we have with regards to, what if we're limited with a number of people we can have in a room? How can we
Right.
still create an amazing experience for the students?
Oh,
And
Excellent.
yes, and we've already engaged in some of these conversations, and the what ifs, what if this, what if this, what if this.
Mhm.
So we are planning on in the fall, having a plan A, B, C, and D. Like I always tell my students going into a show, have a plan A, B, C, and D. So plan A doesn't work out. What's plan B? So we can still utilize this amazing facility and get these tools, into the students' hands. So.
In a way, that's even more exciting, I gotta say, because if we were thinking, okay, we're just gonna do a play like we normally do, and now we got cool toys to throw at it, but instead you have to come up with potentially a whole new kind of way of working.
Yes, and
sound and light installments. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Anna.
I was gonna say, sound and light installments are their own thing now, especially in like Germany. If anyone's ever seen any of those videos where you just walk into a room and you're just stimulated for 45 minutes by aural and visual experiences.
Mhm.
I mean, that's pretty cool.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm ready for that. Bring it.
And again, we have the opportunity to do stuff like that because the technology, the building, it's really, the possibilities are endless.
I think if we do a next show, which I assume that we will, we're going to invite John Whitlock, and maybe we can get Tony Foreman
Mhm.
to come on as well to talk about John's firm, BLDD, is the architect of the building, and then Tony Foreman is our theater design consultant. So maybe we'll have them on, and you guys can join us again.
Yeah.
I'd love
We're
that.
gonna get asked back.
Well, I don't know. We'll have to look at this.
Yeah, we'll go back and watch the tape. We'll let you know.
All right.
Well, thank you guys so much for being part of the show. I'm glad we were able to work this out, and you're still two of my favorite people, so this didn't ruin it for me.
Yeah. Love it. Thank you. Yeah, same back at you, both of you. All of you.
All right, we'll see you soon.
All right. See you
Bye,
guys.
guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, we did it. Another show.
This is a fun one.
It was fun. We want to make sure we thank our guests. Let's see if I can name them all. Lyle, Jessa, Sarah, Kenzie, Matt, and Anna. We thank them for taking time out of their evening to be with us. I think I giggled more in this show than I have in some of our other ones.
It was a good one. It was fun.
We're all getting a little stir crazy.
Yeah.
You can find this podcast on nowdecatur.com. They'll also post it to a YouTube link on their website, and you can watch it there. When we have the post shared, we are going to be sharing a ton of other links that we have mentioned tonight. Laura, help me. The Midwest Music Expo.
Right, MMX. The Celebrations of Scholarship, which has art, music, theater, film, all kinds of things. What else?
We're trying to blank, but there's lots of things to click on.
Lots of things.
We also want to mention that Milliken is in fundraising mode right now. This is sort of always the time of the year that we're doing that, the True Blue Challenge. But Jessa mentioned earlier scholarships for arts tech and arts administration students. And the only way that that's possible is by people giving. And we know that there are a lot of organizations asking for money right now in light of what's happening, but we certainly hope that giving to Milliken is something that people will consider.
And, you know, Milliken is a business here in Decatur that, you know, the survival of Milliken has impact on the entire community, which is, I think, maybe something people don't think about necessarily, but, you know, it's a business like any other one. So I hope people will consider, as they're thinking where to put their philanthropic dollars, that Milliken is tuition driven and our students have needs. So.
Well, thank you everybody for joining us. We will be back in 2 weeks. We don't really have a focus yet. I'm sure we'll come up with a great idea between now and then. Until then, stay safe and stay healthy and continue to support the arts as they are continuing to support us through this very difficult time. Thanks everybody. Good night.
Night.